Hey everybody out there on the YouTube. This is Story Dude. I'm here to provide you with them stories. Let's get right into it. I'm a 41-year-old woman, and I told my daughter, a 22-year-old female, about the truth of her birth, and it has gone horribly. It's complicated, but to put it plainly, my late husband was raised by a foster family. His foster sister took advantage of him, and our eldest, Scarlett, is biologically hers. My husband wanted to protect her and got custody, and I became her mother when she was around 8 months old. Scarlett and her fiancé took DNA ancestry tests to support his adoptive sister when she did hers. Scarlett found out she has a half-sister and tried to talk to me about it. I tried to be vague, but she wasn't having it, and I couldn't discourage her from reaching out. It got heated, and I ended up telling her the truth about it and why we never told her. I reassured her that we loved her and that it didn't mean anything about her, that she was our daughter and meant the world to us. She was understandably shocked and left. Since then, I've tried to give her space, just letting her know I love her and am happy to talk anytime. However, a few days ago, her fiancé came over and just lost it at me. He didn't understand why I told her and claimed that if I loved her, I would take the secret to the grave. Apparently, she's taken it extremely badly and practically hates herself. It sounds like she's taken it extreme, but he didn't explain much, just blame me. I tried to reach out to her, but I keep getting no response. I honestly feel horrible. I love her just as much as our other children. We've always been really close, and I never meant to hurt her with this. She just wouldn't take any less than a proper explanation. I never meant for it to go like this, and I feel so lost. I don't have anyone I can talk to about it, and it's just eating me up inside. I never meant for it to go this way. I honestly love her so much. How can I fix it? Wow. Well, this one's totally out of my league. But what I can say is that I believe that time can heal things, and it's totally understandable that she's reacting this way. But I would also expect that with some time, she will be able to process it. And what you can do in the meantime is just to be available for her when she's ready. And on that note, let's see what the comments say, because I'm sure they've got more interesting input than that was. Kind of hard to take it to your grave when she did a fun DNA test. You did what you had to given the circumstances, and that's okay. She needs time to process an alternate reality, and that's okay. Hopefully she comes around, but you didn't do anything wrong. How old was your husband when he was taken advantage of? Is he the father? I'm confused. Telling the truth may be hard, but lies do nothing but prolong that hurt. You did the right thing. Suggest therapy to her and offer it to go together as well. Good luck. I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought the story was confusing, but I do believe that OP's husband is the father, I think. Anyway, that's a horrible situation. I'm sorry. You did what you could. You couldn't stop them from taking the DNA test, and she wanted the answers. Nothing other than the truth would probably have satisfied her. As others have suggested, therapy is needed. I think it's also important to let her know her father never felt anything but love for her. I think that's something she might be struggling with, since she can't get the reassurance and answers from him. Oh God, I am so sorry. All you can do is be there and remain consistent. Keep reaching out, but let her come to you. Write her a letter. She's your daughter, and you've never looked at her differently than your other children. You had to tell her. The secret was already out. Offer to go to therapy with her, whatever she wants or needs. I know it's awful now, but with love and patience, things will get better. Yeah, I think people are just reacting to this understandably difficult news. I mean, on the one side, the fiance was like, you could have never told her, but the daughter wanted you to tell her and was mad that you didn't tell her earlier. So clearly people have, these two people who are the closest concerned have very different ideas of what would have been the right thing to do. And that tells me that you didn't have a good option and you should stop beating yourself up about it. What else were you supposed to do? They took those stupid DNA tests. The cat was out of the bag, that something was up. Just give her time to deal with the truth. Absolutely. Well, let's move on to the next one here. I'm a 29-year-old female, and I told my husband, a 39-year-old male, that I'm leaving, and he's finally acting right. We have been married for 8 years, which, yes, means I was 20 and he was 29. I actually was 19 when we met. A mutual friend introduced us and lied about the age difference. When we found out there was a gap, it was too late and already in love, quote unquote. I became pregnant 4 months in, and we have a 7-year-old who is my delight. The yelling and blaming started just a few weeks into our relationship. I have story after story of him just going feral. Years and years and years of this man going off without rhyme or reason. The most minuscule being, I cut a few trees down in Animal Crossing without his permission. The biggest is a missed the biggest is a missed house mortgage payment. I was blamed and reprimanded for both and everything in between. Anything under the sun has set this man off. He's yelled at every holiday and birthday and trip we've taken. I have been doing research for years now about narcissists, and he fits the role very well. Handsome and charismatic up front, but a scary, mean man behind closed doors. 2 years ago, on the 22nd of September 2021, after he yelled at me about not being more enthusiastic about sex, I told him that if the yelling and manipulation doesn't stop, I am leaving. He got better, then didn't. So I told him a second time, this stops or I am leaving. He stopped for a week. We recently moved across the country, something we wanted to do and have planned on. Literally the night before we are supposed to leave, he picks a huge fight with me. I told him I wasn't going to move, and somehow he convinced me to go. To be honest, I like the state we are in now. I am happy for a fresh start. To my not surprise, he didn't stop. Christmas Eve, he worked until 4, got home around 5-ish. My son and I had the house all set up, steak dinner, and cookies baking. The vibe is nice. Husband gets home and we greet him, but he needs to look at the bank account real quick. One thing leads to another, and he's yelling and berating me again, and I just snapped. I have been completely broken and checked out emotionally from this marriage. I told him I'm done and moving out. He cried and apologized. I don't believe him anymore. I feel like he's faking it again so we get back to normal again. This life is easy for him. I do everything, childcare, household, and hold a part-time job. He works full-time and spends about 2 or 3 hours a day at the gym. I don't have a gym membership, and that I'm bitter about. In my head, I'm thinking I can do all this myself, and if it's just for me and my son, there's no one to yell. All in all, I'm having a hard time trusting my own judgment. It's emotional and mental abuse, neglect, and toxic. I need to get out for my own sake, and mostly for the sake of our son. I hope it's not too late. Yeah, OP, I think you made the right decision to move out, and it's normal that you are doubting yourself because that's what narcissists specialize in, is making it feel like you're somehow to blame or you should be doubting yourself and that they are being the reasonable ones. But as I'm sure the people in the comments are going to say, your husband is clearly a highly problematic person and has no business being in a relationship with you. So on that note, I want to wish you, OP, the best of luck, and let's see what people are saying in the comments. Hey, you're with an abusive man. They will always be so charming when called out or if you threaten to leave. He is not going to change. I left for my boys. I didn't have the right to raise boys who believed it was okay to treat a woman as I was being treated. You're raising a boy to become an abusive man. It's not okay. I know the cycle. Yelling, berating, and calling you names. You lay down a line in the sand and it gets better until it slowly but surely begins again, and it's worse. My ex didn't come after me physically until after the divorce. I got inside and locked the door and called the police. You need to leave for your son and for yourself. Be careful. Leaving is the most dangerous time. I'm happy to listen if you want to message me. Wow. And it's sad, but it is true that there are, I don't want to say many people do not change and will not change. And no matter how much you love them or want to believe that they will change, there's a certain type of person that is simply incapable of it. And you need to watch out for those people and get them out of your life before it's too late. You described a cycle of abuse. Yes, you should leave him. Don't negotiate. In fact, don't even pre-announce it. Make your plans secretly and then go. Consult a divorce lawyer on the sly. He's had chances to reverse course and he isn't able to maintain the changes he would need to make. Hun, it isn't going to get better. It's not going to stop because he sees that you'll continue to give him more chances in the future if you stay. I hope you take into consideration over this and think of the how she's going to grow up thinking it's okay for anyone to act like this. I think the commenter is talking about how the kids will be influenced by the toxic environment at home, and that cannot be overstated. You got to do it for you and for your kids. In my head, I'm thinking, I can do all of this myself, and it's just me and our son. There's no one to yell. What does he bring to the table except stress and anxiety? Sounds like you'd be 100% better off without him. Yeah, and no one needs to go to the gym 2 or 3 hours a day. And in fact, I highly doubt that that's actually what he's doing every day. In any kind of relationship that's fair, one person in the relationship doesn't get to have 2 to 3 hours for their own personal development and leave the other person to just take care of everything. That is absolutely not how things should work. So, he only changes long enough for his life to go back to the way he likes it? Do you realize your son will behave exactly like his dad or will end up getting treated like you? Instead of telling him again, make your exit plan, serve him papers, and live your best life. Absolutely. Well, wishing the best of luck to all of those OPs because it sounds like they need it. This has been Story Dude. Once again, I want to thank all of you all for being our subscribers and chilling with us in the comments. We'll talk to you later. Take care until next time.